Good morning and welcome along to AardvarkJoke,
episode 18.
I'm joined this week, as is traditional, by Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson, how are you and what have you been up to this week?
Hello, Edging. I'm very well, thank you, and I've been measuring rainfall.
And on the podcast this week, we're going to try and write a joke about a topic that I've been thinking about for a while, actually. So, you're aware of sports, the concept of sport?
Yes, I've heard of them.
Yeah, some crossover with games on the Venn diagram. But then obviously, as in the 80s and 90s, we got an entirely new revolution or evolution in the sporting game. We got extreme sports.
Extreme sports.
Spelt XTREME with an X.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you do the thing where you cross your arms to make the X show quite how extreme things are. And I'm sure elements of this culture morphed into Monster and Red Bull and the Kyle who drinks Monster memes, all that sort of business.
Well, I think the biggest division, the easiest division for people of our age is whether it's an EA Sports or an EA Sports Big.
Yes, of course.
Which I think is just probably the easiest way of working out between the two of them.
Definitely, because that was most of the SSX games on PS2 and GameCube and Xbox, original Xbox. I can't remember if the very first SSX was EA Sports Big, or if they sort of hadn't worked it out.
It was a normal-sized EA Sport.
It was a regular EA, but then for the second SSX, it was EA Sports Big.
Yeah. So just to clarify, we're not interested in EA games. So we're challenging absolutely nothing in this podcast.
No, we're not getting any money from them for advertising, nor will we ever, I imagine. I mean, if they do want to sponsor us, then I'm sure we'll take the money and run, because we're little corporate sellouts. But, yeah.
Well, aspiring corporate sellouts.
Can't wait to climb that pole to the bottom level, greasy ladder. But anyway, one point I want to know is that, to an extent, outside of it being cool in the 80s and 90s, what is the dividing line for extreme sports? So you think back to the good old days, like ancient Rome and all that, chariot racing, that's pretty dangerous and quite extreme.
Yeah.
I reckon nowadays, if you did chariot racing, that would be an extreme sport. But horse racing, not an extreme sport at all, just a regular thing that people do.
And show jumping, even less extreme.
Yeah, no one has gone to the show jumping and gone, this is like, they haven't used words like radical or tubular
or gnarly.
Yeah. Or just called everyone dude and or bro while watching the show.
Yeah, no one has ever shouted anyone clearing an oxer as extreme or huge. I think that is quite frankly unfair.
I think as well, that would make a hell of a YouTube video. Because obviously one of the greatest horse-based videos of all time is the UK Garage Goes to the Races, where the guy is emceeing about the horse race, and it is genuinely very, very funny. Assuming people are watching this or listening to this on YouTube, they could probably search for it after the end of it. But someone doing snowboard-style commentary over the show jumping, I think would be quite an entertaining 2-minute video.
It would be entertaining, and I think the interesting thing is the danger. The danger is still there in the horsing, but not referred to as extreme.
No, maybe it's you have to wear a helmet. It's obviously BMXing and skateboarding and all that sort of business. Snowboarding, everyone's wearing a helmet. That probably doesn't cut it entirely, because sometimes
show jumping they are wearing helmets as well.
Yeah, they're wearing like the small helmets rather than the cool helmets.
Oh yeah, and they're also wearing blazers.
Yes, and then sometimes I'm sure it's got a proper name. Maybe someone will know. But when ladies are wearing that face net thing, so that it like slightly obscures the face, but it also holds whatever millinery stuff on top of their helmet perfectly in place. I don't know if that's got a name.
I don't know at all what you're on about.
Okay, I'll show you a photo after this, but I'm sure it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. But yeah, so I don't know where to draw the line on the extreme sports thing. I think there's definitely some comedy in there, because the premise of a joke would be someone saying, I don't understand why X isn't an extreme sport, while listing some really tame thing. Like I assume at one end of the scale is lawn bowls or dominoes, partially just because it's played by generally elder people, more elderly people. So the assumption is that it's less extreme by default. You've got to be
so like show
15 to 29 if it's an extreme sport.
Show jumping, old people as well. So maybe you're on something with that. The other thing I'm going to consider is it just what the people wear? Because objectively, if you look at, say, trampolining and snowboarding, it's just people doing flips and spinning around a lot, isn't it?
It is. It's kids who did gymnastics. It's people who did gymnastics as kids, but then were slightly too cool to carry on doing gymnastics. Or,
but I mean,
just was. Because one thing I do like, obviously, like modern day Olympic gymnasts are all they're like top level ripped, and like they look like humans should look. And generally, that's the case with all professional sports these days. People are more and more athletic, but you still get occasionally in the Olympics and the X Games a couple of snowboarders and skiers who, it's not they don't spend like quite a bit of time in the gym, but it's clearly not their number one priority. Their number one priority is still things like style and looking cool.
Looking cool, yeah. So it's probably got something to do with that. Because again, also diving, objectively, just the same as snowboarding. It's just falling and doing spins.
Yeah, and they don't even have to land on their feet. They get to land on their heads. People tell them they've still done a good job. So, and
that's even more extreme because they're landing upside down.
If you did that in snowboarding, it's gone very, very wrong. If you land on your head,
and you get demerit. So anything, diving's actually harder because you got to land the wrong way up.
Yeah. What's the difference between water and snow anyway? Just a bit of temperature, isn't it? Like, take a bit of temperature out of it, and it's the same thing. I assume we have hit the nail on the head that just the thing that makes a sport extreme is just how you look, and again whether it was cool in the 80s. And also, I think that's it.
Potentially, if you could get away with it, with just being slightly less ripped.
Yeah. So from this kind of perspective, someone turns up to do show jumping in baggy jeans and some etnies or some Vans. Suddenly, it's extreme show jumping.
Yeah, and I reckon. You know, I reckon Vans or Converse or DC could easily make some chaps.
Yeah, I mean, they're large multinational corporations. They could probably afford to sponsor someone and buy a horse.
Yeah, I mean, they probably wouldn't even have to buy a horse, would they?
Yeah, just rent it. Much more tax efficient. We'll pause it there.
You're going to go into your joke writing zone?
I hope so, yeah. Right, let's see how this goes.
3 hours and 37 minutes later.
Extreme sports. I don't understand why some sports get to be extreme with an X and others aren't. Most extreme sports, like snowboarding, tend to involve a lot of going upside down. Diving involves a lot of upside down and involves water, which is very similar to snow. But that's not extreme at all. That's just a normal Olympic sport. The thing is, especially nowadays when the pinnacle of human achievement is so high, most athletes are absolutely ripped and clearly spend a huge amount of time in the gym. Like, there's not any kind of fat or anything on them. Whereas you still occasionally get in extreme sports, got people who just say dude a lot and are generally quite cool and quite laid back about the whole thing. But then, if not being in peak physical condition is a key element of extreme sports, surely lawn bowls has got to be in there to shout. I think that's up there. Why can't we just have show jumpers wearing baggy jeans and Vans being described as extreme athletes? Surely that's the future.
I like it. Bravo.
That has been AardvarkJoke
episode 18.
Mr. Peterson, is there anything you would like to add?
Not that wouldn't be in breach of multiple super injunctions.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.